Falkland Islands or Islas Malvinas, located in the South Atlantic, are a group of islands at the center of a territorial dispute that culminated in a war in 1982. This dispute, which spans centuries, involves Argentina and the United Kingdom. This video will look at the history of this territorial dispute, the factors that contributed to the 1982 conflict, the war itself and its lasting effects. Our aim is to present the history and views of the actors involved in this conflict. The early history of the islands is disputed, although there are claims of earlier sightings. The first documented landing is generally attributed to British Captain John Strong in 1690. France established a small colony in 1764, followed by a Spanish settlement. Britain also established a settlement. Spain later acquired the French settlement. In 1811, Spain withdrew from the islands after its independence from Spain. Argentina asserted its claim, arguing that it inherited Spain's rights to the Falklands. In 1820, Argentina sent a ship to claim the islands. However, in 1833, British forces returned, expelled the Argentine authorities, and reinstated British administration. The Argentine government has protested this action ever since, considering it an act of illegal occupation. The British based their claim on previous discoveries, settlements, and continued administration, as well as on the wishes of the islanders. Throughout the 20th century, Argentina repeatedly pressed its claim through diplomatic channels, most notably at the United Nations. Several rounds of negotiations were held between the British and Argentine governments, but failed to produce a resolution. The islanders, largely descendants of British colonists, consistently expressed their desire to remain under British rule. However, economic realities were changing. Argentina was experiencing economic hardship and political instability, and the military junta saw the islands as a distraction from internal problems. In April 1982, the Argentine military government, led by General Galtieri, launched Operation Rosario, the invasion of the Falkland Islands. Argentine forces quickly overwhelmed the small British garrison and occupied Port Stanley, Puerto Argentino. The invasion was greeted with jubilation in Argentina, which saw it as a recovery of national territory. The British government, under Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, condemned the invasion and promised to retake the islands. The British response was swift. A naval task force was sent to the South Atlantic, a considerable logistical undertaking given the distance. The naval campaign was difficult. The sinking of the Argentine cruiser General Belgrano by a British submarine caused much controversy, as it occurred outside the declared total exclusion zone. HMS Sheffield was hit by an Exocet missile. British air power was limited, and the fleet was vulnerable to Argentine air attack. The ground campaign involved fierce fighting. British forces landed at San Carlos and advanced towards Port Stanley. Major battles took place at Goose Green, Mount Longdon, and Mount Tumbledown. Argentine forces, although numerically superior on the islands, were hampered by logistical problems and, in some cases, lower levels of training. British troops were supported by naval fire and air power, but the fighting was intense and resulted in casualties on both sides. After weeks of fighting, Argentine forces surrendered in June 1982. The Falkland Islands remained under British control. The war had significant political consequences in Argentina. The defeat hastened the fall of the military junta and paved the way for the return of democracy in the United Kingdom. The victory bolstered national pride and strengthened the government of Margaret Thatcher. The issue of sovereignty remains unresolved. Argentina continues to claim the Falklands as its own. The islanders voted overwhelmingly in a 2013 referendum to remain a British overseas territory. The Falklands War remains a potent symbol of national identity and territorial disagreement for Argentina and the United Kingdom. The islands are a reminder of the complexities of history and the enduring challenges of territorial disputes.